What's going on, guys? Drask here. Today we're going to be going over how to take on the Titan in Elite Dangerous. Alright, so we're going to be using a Crate Mark II today, and this is going to be for people who have minimal engineering, and I will have a link down to the build down in the description down below. That way you guys can just copy it. Now, the overall repair cost every single time you blow up should be roughly about 8.1 million. Might be 9 million if you have like a little bit more things engineered. I tried to do as close to the build as possible on the website. However, there were some things that for some reason it didn't actually show the modifications properly. And for the overall build cost, like from a stock Crate Mark II to a fully retrofitted, it's going to cost you 116 million, roughly, depending on where you actually go to outfit your ship. Alright, now before we actually head over inside of Seoul, we're going to pick a few different important areas. So if you check over on the map, you want to be in a neighboring system that's not under conflict. Now the reason why you want to do that, now why do you want the limpets? Well, we're going to be running the Xeno limpet setup, which they don't actually have that on the website for some reason. But anyways, it's going to allow us to scrub some of the disease off our ship as well as repair us. Now, every single time you blow up, you are going to need to restock your missile rack, so that's going to be another 65,000 credits per. And before you take off, the reason why we're in these random places is click on Starport Services, head over to Advanced. From here, you can head over to your limpet controller and buy. We have our cargo rack on 5E, that way you have 32 limpets. That'll basically just allow us to survive longer. And one other trick before we head over to Seoul that everyone needs to do. So over inside of your ship controls under the miscellaneous tab, if you scroll down, you're going to want to look where it says shut down field neutralizer. Go ahead and keybind that. That way you don't have to fiddle through all of your different setups. Also, you can sit there and charge your ECM, chaff launchers, all that stuff is going to be found inside this area for anyone who hasn't actually set up the keybinds yet. Alright, so now that we have all that done, let's head over to Seoul and learn how to bomb the Titan. So while we take off, just a little bit more to sort of go over the strategy here. So basically, you're going to want a nanite torpedo if you're going to be the one doing the bombing runs. That's going to be used to shut down the vents, which is basically going to cause the heart of the Thargoid to pop out, allowing us to bomb it. So that's why we have so many missile racks. Those are going to be the strongest ones. If you have pre-engineered missile racks, you don't necessarily need them, but you will do more damage, and you'll, as a result, you will make more money per run. Who hasn't actually gotten to the vent though, as long as you do 2 million worth of money damage to it, you'll actually be able to get all of the event rewards.
Frameshift drive charging.
The one weird thing is if you check your transactions tab, it will show in thousands instead of millions. So for example, we are at 41,000, but technically it should say like 4K if you only did 4 million damage with it.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
And once again, this is with minimal engineering, so most new players should be able to get very similar results when it comes to this. You don't necessarily need all of the engineered upgrades that I have. They'll just help you survive a little bit longer, or if you're even more engineered, it'll be even better for you. The only thing that's kind of essential is being able to have your thrusters as high as possible. Whenever you get hyper-addicted like this, you want to just use your engine, have all your pips into it, and go full speed, just keep on thrusting. And once your FSD is cooled down, go ahead and charge it up. Sometimes it doesn't pop up on your screen, you gotta click the button. The main thing we want to avoid is the swarm back there. Now heading into Seoul, the only downside is since there's a Titan here, technically Hydras are able to interdict you. So you just gotta be kind of careful when it comes to that. Whenever we get interdicted inside of Seoul, the best way to survive is actually to pull back on our throttle. That's going to give us the shortest cooldown. As you guys can see, we didn't even get touched in that one.
Frameshift drive charging.
Here's the slow part because we're not actually able to boost up, but we should be able to get out before they get towards us.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Incredible damage. We took a little bit of unnecessary damage. It's fine. Alright, so once we head over to Seoul, you want to look on your map for the Titan, go to lock destination. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, the enhanced missile racks and the Xeno limpets, those are both going to be found on side of the rescue ship. So you can go to either Rescue Ship Hunter, or you can go to Rescue Ship Cornwallis. Like I was saying before, whenever we get interdicted like that, all you have to do is pull all the way back on your throttle. That's going to give you the shortest FSD cooldown. And I recommend rotating either clockwise or counterclockwise to sort of avoid some of the missiles. That way you don't get hit all the time. It's going to stay locked on regardless, and you can just spin slowly and they won't be able to shoot you.
3, 2, 1, engage.
So we're not running shields because Thargoids basically go through your shields regardless anyway, so there's no point in bringing them all on. Alright, so once you get close, you want to disengage. This is where the fun happens. Now, you're not really going to be able to see too well in here. If you have a teammate that's already inside, you can nav block them, that way you can find them a little bit easier. But basically just want to keep on heading towards the red clouds. Nothing's really going to attack inside of here. You are going to eventually see some landmines, so just be kind of careful when it comes to that. If you go into your forward panel, you can turn on your headlights. It might make it a little bit easier to spot them. You don't get the surge if it takes you a few runs to like fully learn how to do everything. It took us, I think it was like 3 or 4 runs. Now you'll notice we're going to start taking some caustic damage, so we swap over to our firing order that has our caustic launchers, and we're just going to slowly wait. Once it builds up, then we'll be able to dump it out, so that way we take the least amount of damage possible. Caustic works a little bit different than heat sink, so you can't just like dump it down on the ground. It does need to charge up some. Now you guys are starting to see some of the landmines pop out, and just be super careful because they do ragdoll you quite a bit if you accidentally bump into one.
Warning. Caustic damage detected.
You can see how it has like the little green on the bottom there. I am using a little bit different color scheme, but basically that signifies that we need to dump our caustic launcher. Alright, so now he's going to be charging up. We want to wait for a neutralizer. Wait for it. And now.
Warning. Thermal attack. Gaining heat.
Now you want to drop a heat sink. You might want to put a few pips into the systems that we don't have issues like I did. Normally if you have 2 or 3 into systems, you'll be fine. Once your systems come back, you use your heat sink, and you move forward. Now if you have more people inside of the Titan area, it is going to spawn in a lot more enemies, as well as it might give you a little bit more trouble when it comes to like pushing forward here. Now we finally face off against the Titan. This is the area where you can relax, repair some, or wait for your teammates. It's not actually going to be attacking you while you're inside of this asteroid belt, so you have plenty of time to actually do it. They do have a little bit of security guards, but they don't seem to be the brightest, so you got plenty of time to actually repair out in the middle of nowhere. Alright, so quick overrun of our firing group. So if you have your beam lasers engineered with thermal vents, you basically want to have them on both different firing groups. That way they're going to be able to constantly shoot the whole time to keep you cooler. You're going to have your missile racks on one firing group, and you're going to have your torpedo on the other group. That way you're able just to lock on normally. I do have my caustic launcher and the repair limits on the same firing order, and then decontamination I have on firing order D. And the decontamination unit I have on firing order D. I don't really use that one. The main thing is to make sure you have both your caustic launchers available to you. Then you should be good to go. Alright, so before we actually go inside of there, we're going to check our firing order real quick. So you want your beam lasers to be mapped to both A and B. That's going to allow us to have a dedicated side for our missile racks, as well as a dedicated side for our torpedo pylons. If you scroll down, that should be the only 2 things that we have inside of this list. The next list over, we have our repair limits on 1, and we have our sink launchers on 2. And for D, we just have a decontamination unit just in case. So basically the reason why we do this is our laser is going to be shooting the whole time to keep us cooler. And then that way it's just easier to shoot the torpedoes. Now once you're inside of the Thargoid, you don't really need too much into systems. You'll need a little bit just in case you need like a heatsink, but right now the main thing is actually going to be our engines. Weapons don't matter until we're actually shooting the main heart. And you notice if you're on the wrong side, there's going to be a little light popping on the back side there. That sort of signifies which area you should be in. And now it's opening. You're going to notice it says heat vent. You got the right firing order. You roll to the right, boost, up some. necessarily need to hit all the vents, it's just open long enough for you to do more damage to the Titan itself. Once again, you want all your pips into engines, and this is where you change your firing order to your normal missile rack. Going to be kind of close to it before you can actually start locking on, and then you just want to launch into it. Put your landing gear down and your cargo scoop. It will slow you down a little bit. I run into it though. Once you do that, you want to run away. If you don't run away, you will die. So once you get one, you want to just roll with it, move on to the next one.
Warning. Caustic damage detected.
The colder you run, the less lasers are actually going to be able to shoot you. Go underneath. Swap all into weapons. If you're going too fast, putting down your cargo scoop and landing gear will slow you down some. From this point, you want to put all your pips back into engines and run away. If you had your heat sinks, that would be able to keep you a little bit colder. Don't forget to actually bring materials to build those. This guide helps you out. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck, Commanders, and hopefully you're able to do some damage.